What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Clean Spark and Marathon today. If I sound a little funny, it's because I feel a little funny, man. I've got a cold, and my voice is kind of going out. But we're gonna trudge through this, I got my handy dandy Rocky Mountain spring water. We're talking about Clean Spark for Guilherme Parangole. I hope I'm saying that right. Guilherme Parangole. And then we'll be talking about Marathon for Mr. SAJR6NL, I believe. I think I pronounced that one very well. But anyways, without any further ado, let's get into this. So CLSK here. You just said do it, so I'm gonna do it, man. We're gonna do it right. You did say please, though. I will say that. From this most recent high, let's zoom out. Let's zoom out, right? Man, I had a guy who was making fun of my video, my last, I think it was my last Clean Spark video, and I was talking about the prices going to $100, and he was making fun of me, but he also thinks that $100 is going to be the top, so or like 160, like a 10x from here is what he said, and I'm like, that's exactly what I'm saying, man. So how am I don't know how I'm dumb. He said I was dumb because I was saying I don't think it's a good time to buy here. Even though I think the price will inevitably see that, I don't think it's a good time to buy here. And I just want to point out, guys, if we're zooming out here, before I continue to defend myself, I want to make a point for maybe if you're listening, whoever you are, I don't even know what your name is, but or anybody who might think I'm silly. If we've got this kind of higher low, higher high trend, we don't have to come all the way back to this line. And in fact, I wouldn't think we do. We could. We don't have to. But some kind of reversion back, if we were to go to this green line or not, I want to show you. And going back to this green line, going back to a previous area of resistance, I'll put it at the closing base where we had resistance, support before. Maybe we do go back to 6.9. Wouldn't that be perfect? Right around the green line here. Maybe we go a little bit below that even. But let me show you the difference. Why I don't recommend, and none of this is financial advice. Do what you want. You're big boys, you're big girls. Put your money wherever you want to put it. Why should I matter as far as what that? If you really want to buy this thing, go for it. It's up 67% this month. Last month it was up 52%. Overall, since its most recent low, it's gone up 235%. As of right now, it's still up over 200%. This is a stock. 2 months, it's up over 200%. Forgive me for saying that I don't think it's a good time to buy. Right? I do think if you want to make a short-term buy, you want to try and reach, it's at 1043. You want to hopefully get it to $13. I think it's going to go to $12.50 to $13, and we'll get into why I think that soon. Sure, do a short trade, but I think there's better opportunities that haven't pumped up so much that are a lot less risky for those kind of gains. The reason why, I'm digesting here, but the reason why I don't recommend buying here, not financial advice, is because let's say we do go to 100 on the dot, 103, whatever. So if you buy here at these prices, if I can get it, it was right there at 100, whatever, that counts. 875.5% growth, okay? That's what you would see. Whereas if you wait, and maybe it doesn't go, let's say it goes to $8.25 or $9 even, right? Let's say it goes substantially on its dip, which I think will happen after it goes to $12.50 to $13, maybe even $14. After that, and last leg up, which I think we're going to get, if it comes back, let's say it went to $9, which I don't think. I think it would go below $7, maybe just a little bit below $7, but let's say it goes to $9. That difference alone goes from 875. You go from a 9.7x to an 11.5x. 9.7 to 11.5, all off of this stupid idea that buying here is not smart. Now, if you want to buy and trade it in the short term, go for it. I think you'll probably see, as long as you take profits. But again, I think there's other things that could see that same amount of growth in the short term or more that haven't pumped this much, that aren't risky, that don't have the potential to come to the downside. You've gone up. Nothing moves up in a straight line. Even coming up all the way up here, you had pullbacks, 54% pullback right there, literally. Coming down, it looks like it moved in a straight line, but really, from bottom to top here, you had a 100% pump. In the midst of that, 126% pump. Nothing moves in a straight line, and we've been moving more or less in a straight line for the past couple months. So we're going to see some repercussions at some point. And I want to get to, I just wanted to explain why I think, I wanted to justify why I say, even though I do think the price is going to go higher, and in the long term I wouldn't buy here, is because of this. It's the difference between a 9.7x and a 11.5x. Okay, that's almost 2x's. That's literally almost it's a pretty big difference. Okay, I'm just saying. I don't think it's so dumb, but maybe you do still. But what do I matter? What do you matter? Who cares? Looking at this for what it is right now, I do think we're in an uptrend. Right, I absolutely do think we're in an uptrend. If we take the last kind of very significant high on a macro basis to this low, the 618 to 69 is at 1253, even up to potentially 1584. Now I do think that we'll stop out somewhere around the 618. We had previous resistance here. That top actually is right at, is that right? 1391. So we could top off right around there, a little bit past it. But I do think at least 1253 is going to come into effect. If we take the most relative high to low that we have, this little move here, the extension itself, you've got, so from top to bottom here, your golden ratio, the 618, is at 1253. 1258, yes. From here, from top to bottom, is that right? I feel like I get different numbers sometimes, man. Is that? Oh, I did. Okay, there we go. Sorry, it would be 1256. And then here from top to bottom, it would be 1254. That's what it is. Okay. Golden extension, golden ratio. I very much expect we'll find turbulence in this area, but the way that this thing likes to move, I don't think that it'll bounce right off this level. I think it would go a little bit past it, and that's why I'm thinking we do go above $13. I personally have some options that I bought in this thing. I have some stock that I own in this thing. I'm not going to sell my stock, but I am going to let go of the options. I'm going to sell those for the premium, right? And as this thing comes down, maybe I'll reinvest into some stock and maybe even buy back some more options. But a very common maneuver when talking about extensions, and I want to get rid of this real quick, is whenever you see this extended range here, the common extensions, even if you go a little bit past it, right? Whatever. Very common maneuvers to pull back to your 886. And look at that. Your 886 right there at 693, like literally right there at that level. Top to bottom here, your 382 is right there at 590. You could, going up to your 618 and pulling back to your 382, deleting this kind of idea. That is also a very common maneuver. Okay, but beyond all that too, if we just take away the fibs and we just look at the price for what it is, it's very common when you break out of a zone, which I do think, right, we were held down by this kind of range here. Maybe if you don't like that wick as the top, maybe this closing top here, it's basically the same. Maybe you want to put it all the way up at this wick. Whenever you break out of a price range, it's very common to come back and test it for support before continuing higher. All things leading to at least prices going to 755. If not more likely, below $7 at some point. So why buy it here whenever it might go up a little bit more, might being the key word. I do think it does, but you never know the future. When there is the potential and strong likelihood that no matter what it does, if it goes up from here, if it moves sideways, if it decides to move down from here, obviously then this would come true. But no matter what it does, it's very likely going to go below $7 again. Why would you buy here? That to me is the silly thing. But to each their own. If assuming that this thing goes to $100 by the end of the cycle, which I do think it does, I think it even goes beyond that. Seeing it at 1043 right now, obviously it's a good price to buy. But why would you buy here when you could turn it into more potentially, right? And that was just at $100. That's all this talk has been about, the $100 level. But truthfully speaking, if we look at this on a monthly, top to bottom here on this most relative fib, you have your 100 level at the 1272. The 1618 is all the way up here at $300. Okay, Marathon itself has a market cap, or not Marathon, CleanSpark itself has a market cap, let's say, of about $2 billion right now. Okay, $2 billion all the way up to $300. That would be a 29, let's call it a 30x, just to round it. So 30x times $2 billion is a $60 billion market cap. Can that happen for CleanSpark? I think absolutely it can. Absolutely it can. I believe Marathon and Riot achieved like $20 to $30 billion market caps in the last cycle. They're probably going to see dramatically higher than that. CleanSpark could catch up to those. Maybe it doesn't. But if CleanSpark goes to 60 billion and Marathon and Riot were at like 20 to 30 billion, I bet they're going to Riot and Marathon are going to see more than a 2x from their previous all-time highs. So if they go to, let's say, 80 to 100 billion, CleanSpark could see a $60 billion market cap, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't, but you still have your 1414 here at or at $160, which is just a little bit more than a 10x from here. It's actually like a 15x, almost a 16x. Yeah, like a 15x. But all that to say, man, CleanSpark looks really good. Look at this volume coming in. We have this really nice bottoming kind of pattern going on, right? You've got this V here. You've almost got like another V. It's like an Adam and Adam, or maybe it's an Adam and Eve. This could be the Eve. This could be the Adam. But it looks very bullish. And in the short term, I do think it goes a little bit higher, but we're going to see a pullback. Nothing moves in straight lines all the way, right? And if you notice, even back here where we found resistance after moving up phenomenally the first time, it was right here at about $14 last time, in that $13 range. So do we go up to $15 where that top is technically right there? I believe that is. Let me see. $15.14, maybe. Do we go up to just $13? Maybe, but somewhere between there, I do think we go. We have a lot of turbulence and resistance currently and previously and support previously that lines up with that. So even I guess that's not IPO price. But anyways, that's all I got for CleanSpark. I do think it goes up, and I don't think telling people to not buy here is stupid. I personally don't. After moving up 226%, I don't. In less than 2 months' time, I don't think that's stupid at all. I think that's solid advice, but it's not advice at the end of the day. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You do what you want with your money. Being at these prices, I still do think it's cheap, but let's move on from there. We're going to be talking about Marathon. I can't talk, man. Oh, my throat hurts. It's bad, man. It's like I'm acting a lot less bad than it actually is, I'm telling you. Top to bottom here. Enough about me, though. Deep retracement. Very deep retracement. Nice to see. Wow. Yeah, I think this thing will go. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, man. I'm going to have to check myself here. Let's see. Current market cap here is, let's call it $5 billion. $5 billion. And let's do a 37x. So 30x would put it off of 5 billion. That'd put 150 billion. 7x is another 35 billion. So that'd be 185 billion. Could Marathon, one of the biggest crypto, if not the biggest crypto, I forget which one's bigger, Marathon or Riot. Let's see. Marathon's the biggest one, at least as far as I know. In market cap valuation, Marathon's the biggest one. Could this thing see an under $200 billion but over $100 billion market cap this cycle? I think not only can it see it, but it deserves to. I think it really does, and I think it will. I think that's totally possible. $816, man. Here you are at $21.97. Beautiful, beautiful. Love to see it. And that'll probably take, the whole cycle. It'll be like toward the end of 2025, a year after the halving happens, or more than that even, before you see that. But anyways, and it won't be in a straight line. It'll move up and down. But anyways, looking at the more immediate stuff, let's see here. From this relative high to the relative low that we had, look at this. You are right around your 618. Maybe you do go a little bit higher, just like CleanSpark, just like a lot of these stocks. I think they go a little bit higher. But you've gone up unchecked so far, pretty far. You are overbought right now. You're at some of the highest readings that you've been in years, right? Higher than this peak, technically as of right now. Some of the most overbought zones that you've actually ever been in. So it wouldn't be too crazy. I actually want to put a line right here. Let's put a line right there. Top, a little bit of resistance here, a little bit of support there even. A little bit higher there, and little tip right there, a little tip right here. Yeah, you could go a little higher, but a little higher being the key word, man. And here you are sitting at 21, let's call it $22. I mean, a little higher could look like $1 more. It could look like $5 more. Maybe you move all the way up to $30. That's possible, but I don't know if I believe that so much. I think $23 you might find resistance in that area, honestly. Let's see. 26, you're 1272. Okay, maybe a little bit higher. Because I would believe that, this is your, don't get me wrong, this is your macro fib. It's significant. It's very significant. But taking your relative fib kind of clears the air a little bit. And your 1414 to 1272, these are kind of your minimum requirements, and they're right in the middle of this zone. Yeah, you could go $26 to $30. Here you are at about $22 now. I think you do that. You're seeing some of the strongest readings you've seen in a while. Maybe you do. Daily volume looks nice, growing. It looks like you have bearish divergence, right? All these people who think they know what they're doing, they're like, oh, there's bearish divergence down here. You've got a higher high in price and it's a lower high in the RSI. But it's not confirmed, is it? You don't have red days yet. You don't have turnaround. And I know that's no help for someone who wants to call the exact top. If you want to sell the exact top, you have to be gifted, or more likely, lucky. You just got to be lucky. Because there's not many people who, in fact, it's oftentimes less than like a handful of people that sell and buy the absolute top. It's like one, I mean, technically the absolute top is between two people, one person who buys, one person who sells, generally speaking. Unless there's like a huge order and then some people are selling like small bits. Anyways. Nice volume. Looks like bearish divergence, but I don't think it is. In fact, what I think is you are going to continue to go higher. You might even see a 90 read in this thing, and then you will likely top off and go down. And you might see something where you go again to like that $26 to $30 range, somewhere in here, right? You might see something like that. You might have a quick drop and then come back up, form like a double top, get some actual bearish divergence going, and then see your overall correction. That'll kind of be in line with this ascending trend line that you have here. And maybe it doesn't go all the way down here. Maybe you find support at previous areas of resistance, stuff like that, at this green line here. But I would think that you go lower. Where would I think you go before? Again, I think you're going to $26 to $30 first. But let's just see, because we don't have the top yet, so I can't really go from low to high here. You could pull back, man. You could pull, once you go to $26 to $30, you could pull all the way back to $11. Absolutely, you could. And still be in great shape, by the way. The halving is in April. So imagine this thing by the end of this month gets up here, and then you have 4 months, literally a third of a year, to consolidate, to correct like you did back here, right? And then you move up more. After the halving, you have this spectacular growth. Like, it seems like it was written in a storybook, man. Like, it really does. I think this thing's going to do well. I tend to stay away from big caps because I don't see as much growth potential in them. But this might be a good one, man. There's a lot of growth potential. And the nice thing about big cap stocks or cryptos is they tend to be more secure, right? You don't get that kind of market cap unless it's overnight. Then it's probably a scam. But for years, this thing has maintained like high market cap levels, right? You don't attain that if you're some kind of scam, and it could be a scam. Anything can happen at any point in time. Nobody ever knows the future, right? But all in all, guys, I do think it goes higher. Marathon, all in all, to say, probably goes to $26 to $30 from here, maybe by the end of the month, maybe sometime in January at the latest, and then at some point before the halving, I would bet that we pull back to, it was like $11 to potentially $16, 11 to 16, somewhere in that range. 16 would kind of make more sense to me. Finding support on the 0.5 after finding resistance up here, it's pretty common, but it's also fairly common to go to your 382 as well. So somewhere in this range, don't be surprised if you find support on that $16 area, because you do have previous areas of resistance there as well, and you have some kind of like support back here as well. Oh, no, that's way too high. So, but yeah, previous resistance there. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Have a good day, a good night, wherever you are, and